Welcome, welcome to my fortnightly program where I talk about one trading indicator and trading strategies related to that. Today's indicator is trend lines. So, today we'll be talking about how to draw trend lines. What are trend lines? What do they actually represent? And then finally, we'll be talking about a few trading strategies based on trend lines. Okay, so what is a trend line? At its very basic, a trend line is a line which connects two points. So the real question is that does it mean that a trend line can be drawn between any two points on a price chart? And the answer is no. There are certain rules that we need to follow. For example, you can't draw a trend line like this from here to here because I'll tell you why you can't do that. You need to be able to connect two points in such a way that in Dow theory terms it forms a higher low or higher high. For example, the price has moved from here to here, it has formed one high, it has come down here which is a higher low than here. We don't know at this point that it is a higher low. We come to know of it only when it makes a higher high. When this point is crossed, we know that this low is now a higher low to this. We are not sure of this point until the price keeps going up and crosses this level. So at this time, when the price crosses this level, this becomes a valid point to connect. So then we can connect to, you can draw a line between these two points, and this is called the trend line. This is one trend line that I have drawn. Why? Because these two points become valid when the price crosses this level. Now let us look at the another trend line, this yellow color trend line that I have drawn. Here, as I explained, the price has gone up from here to here and then come down here and then has moved up. Has it crossed this high? No. So how can I draw a trend line like this? I have said in this part that only when it crossed this high can this become a valid point. Here this is the first point. The second point becomes a valid point as I explained in the past only if this is crossed. But here I still drawn this as a trend line, and there is a reason for it, because after it went up it came back down and now these 3 points are in the line. So the very fact that these 3 points have now formed one line, are lying on the same line, helps me to decide that you can draw a trend line. So either you need 2 points which are forming a higher high and higher low as per Dow theory, or you need 3 points to fall on the same line, then you can call this a trend line. So this was the first point, it went up, came down. We know this is the second point, not at this time, but when it goes up and comes back here, then it starts going up, then we know these are three valid points. These are 3 points and they all happen to fall on the line, so you can now draw a line connecting these points and say this is another trend line. So to conclude, there are only two ways to draw a trend line. One, it should be forming a higher high and higher low as per Dow theory, and two, 3 points should fall on a trend line. Then I can draw a trend line. So here I have drawn a trend line which connects 3 points. Here I have drawn a trend line which connects 2 points. It also happens to connect this point, but that is later. I could draw it even here. The moment this price went here, I could draw this white trend line. Okay, and this yellow trend line I could draw only after these 3 points were formed. Once these 3 points are formed, I can draw this yellow trend line. So either 2 points are connected or 3 points. 2 points, if you're drawing a trend line which are only connecting 2 points, then it has to be a pivot or points according to the Dow theory. If you're drawing a trend line that are connecting 3 points, then it doesn't need to form a higher bottom and a higher top. It doesn't need to do that. So then you can still draw it. So if you look at this section of the chart, you will see that here the price has been changing with respect to the time in a much faster manner than when you draw this line. Similarly, this has been faster than when you draw this. Similarly, this rate of price change is higher than this. So this trend line actually just represents one thing. This is the slowest rate at which price has been changing in this section of the chart. So the trend line just tells you at what rate on an average the price has been changing when you draw the lines along this point. So this is the slowest rate at which price has been changing in this section of the chart. Similarly here, this trend line is even more gentle than this trend line, right? So therefore, this means that in this section of the chart, the rate of price change has become gentler. It is actually reducing. So this is what a trend line just represents. It represents the rate of change of price with respect to time and what has been the slowest in a particular section of the chart. In this case, the price has been rising, so this is the slowest rate at which the price has been increasing. If there was a falling trend line, then it would be the slowest rate at which the price has been falling. So this is what it represents at every section in the chart. Now, because it represents rate of change of price, what we can therefore say is that if the price has been changing rapidly and the trend line is pretty steep, then that trend line becomes easier to break, because a steep price is difficult to actually continue. Whereas when a trend line is more gentle like this, if trend line is more difficult to break, because that has been a gentler rate of growth of the price. So therefore, what we say is that the gentler the slope of a trend line, the more difficult it is to break it, and therefore more valid it is. A steep trend line is not such a valid trend line for continuation trades. A gentler trend line is a valid trend line for, is a better trend line to look for supports. And therefore, if there is a gentle trend line and then yet it breaks down, the price breaks down, then a breakout from a breakdown or breakout from a gentler slope is more valid than a breakdown or a breakout from a steeper slope of a trend line. So trend line represents rate of change of price, and therefore the gentler the trend line, the better it is. So this is a Nifty monthly chart, right? A very long-term chart. And what I've done is I've drawn trend lines, or an example of how trend lines can be drawn. So, I've connected this point and this point. And how did I connect these 2 points? Because this market came down here, went up, came down, and then went up. So I got these 2 points, then I connected it. And then I found that even this point trend line managed to support even this fall. It managed to support this fall, and then this fall and this fall. Only at this time did the trend line actually break. So this is from 2004 May, I think April or May, to around 2008 January. So this has been a very long-term trend line, and one of the rules of drawing long-term trend line, always remember, is that you should draw it on a log chart. You can't draw it on a linear scale, because on a linear scale the price changes will not look correct, and you will get a wrong picture of what the price changes have been. Right, so this is a log chart, and therefore you can draw a long-term trend line like this, and you can see that it connects all these points beautifully all along this fantastic 2003 to 2007 kind of rally. After that, there has been a break of that trend line, and since then this entire rally has been far more gentle. Look at the slope of this trend line and look at the slope of this trend line. This rally that we have seen, and we have said this is a rally which took place from 2011. This is 2011 bottom. This is the post Modi rally, and so we've seen this kind of move. And clearly, when you see it in the form of a log chart, you can see that the rate of price change here has been huge compared to the rate of price change here, and therefore this was a far better bull market than the bull market that we are currently seeing. And yet, so this trend line has got broken, and now it has come back inside the trend line. But the point being that this is how you can draw trend lines. I wanted to show this as an example of how trend lines can be drawn. You draw it between 2 points. Now, for example, I drew this trend line here. It came up and then it went down, then it went back up, came down and went up. This is when I got these 3 points to connect, I didn't have to wait for it to go back beyond this high, like I explained in the previous example, in the previous slide, when I showed you how 3 points can form a trend line. So this is how I formed a trend line here. These 3 points get connected. Then it happens that this point also lies on the same trend line, and then this is the point at which that trend line got broken. So this is how we draw a trend line. These are fine examples. Here only 2 points were enough for me to draw the trend line. Here I could connect it on these 3 points being formed. The moment these 3 points got formed around, and this got formed when it crossed these levels, when these 3 points got formed, I could draw the trend line. If you have been seeing my daily videos, then you will see that I have been talking about this trend line which supported the Nifty rally all through 2019. So I got this point here because this is the start of that rally, and then I got these 2 points here when the market went up and came down and went up. So I could draw this trend line here, these 3 points connecting, I could draw a trend line, and then it happened to go up, and then when this trend line broke, you knew that this kind of rally is over after you got a confirmation around here. So this is the weekly chart that I wanted to show, just another example of how a trend line can be drawn, and this is where I think we drew this trend line. Now I'll show you even a shorter term trend line that can be drawn. So this is the Nifty daily chart, and one trend line that I have drawn is connecting this point and which went up here, but Nifty broke below that. But at the same time, by the time it broke below this trend line, there was another trend line that had already formed, which was when it connected this point and this point. So these 2 points were formed when Nifty went up here, and then I could connect that, and when I connected it, I find that even though this particular trend line, the steeper trend line has been broken, Nifty took support in the more gentler trend line and has gone up and come back again, taken support, gone up, come back, and it is at a point of inflection, because it is at a stage where this gentle trend line is Nifty is riding along this gentle trend line. So this is how trend lines can be used to decide whether the trend is up or down, and this trend line that I've drawn, which is a gentler trend line, is not yet broken. So one other key rule that I wanted to talk about. So this is again Nifty monthly chart, but I have zoomed out so you get to see you get to see a smaller picture, and you see that these were the 3 points I used to connect that to form this trend line. These 3 points. Now you will see that here, for example, there is a small break of this trend line. Similarly, here you will see maybe a small break here. So the trend line, you will say, is not perfect. You have drawn it deliberately like this. And the answer is that no, this is a perfect trend line, except because there is this one very, very important rule, that when you are drawing a trend line, you are connecting, ideally you should be connecting the lows when you are drawing an upward sloping trend line, but there is this one exception that is allowed, that a wick or a shadow of a candle can break into that trend line. It should not be, but a body can't break into. So the body of the candle can't break into the trend line, but a wick or a shadow of the candle can break into the trend line. So here I have not broken any rules. I have connected this low and all these lows, and further I have connected this low, and it has gone up, and this break of the wick or the break of the trend line by the shadow, or this break of the trend line by the shadow, is allowed in drawing this trend line. So the question also is that I could have then drawn a trend line like this. Why did I draw this particular trend line? Because when this point got formed, then I could revise the trend line in such a way that by cutting the wick a bit, I could still manage to connect this point. And always the rule is, so there are two rules. One is you have to have 2 or 3 points before you can draw a trend line. You can allow the wick or the shadow to cut if you want to, and finally you should try and touch as many points as you can without breaking these rules. That is, you should not be cutting the body of a candle, but if by just cutting the shadow or the wick of a candle you can connect more points, then you should do that. That is a more valid trend line than if you draw absolutely at connecting lows. But if I can draw a more valid trend line by connecting more points, as long as it doesn't cut into the body of a candle, then I should do that, and that becomes a better trend line to draw. So first, draw a trend line always connecting 2 pivot points or 3 points. It should happen that there is no cutting of the body of a candle. And finally, draw that trend line which has more touch points. Don't try and draw a perfect trend line trying to connect only the lows. Try and draw a trend line which can connect as many points as possible without cutting into the body of a candle. These are basic rules to draw a trend line. So look, I'm such a nice guy that I have summarized all of that in the form of a slide for you to see. So just go through this. This is actually all that I had to say till now about the trend lines. And then while you're doing that and reading it, I'll give you a few minutes. Please go and subscribe to this channel, and also after you subscribe, please press the bell icon. And I keep giving you some time, because what I feel is that the more you do that, the more it encourages me to come out with these kind of videos. And I will do that on a fortnightly basis. I will come out with educational videos on trading strategies based on one technical indicator, where I'll talk about the indicator, and I'll talk about how to trade using that indicator. And also another week I will be coming out with ideas of how to become a better trader, giving stories on films or mythologies to actually explain that point. So this is, and every time you subscribe and press the bell icon, you will get a notification whenever I post a new video. So I've given you sufficient time to see this, and we will go on to talk about trading strategies, which is obviously what everybody is looking out for. Again, I don't know why I did this, but just to say that there are only two kinds of trading strategies that I use with trend lines. One is a continuation trade, which by definition means that the trend will continue. That is what I trade based on the trend line. And another is a breakout trade, when the trend line actually gets broken. So I have drawn GMR Infra here. This is an example of GMR Infra, and it's a recent chart. What I have shown is that there is this trend line which connects these points, these 3 points, and now another fourth point here, and it's here. Now, but I have also drawn you my favorite 89-day high-low band and my 50-day moving average. Anybody who has seen my daily program, or if you have seen my earlier educational program on moving averages, which is a very good thing which you should see if you are interested in learning about moving averages, then you would know these are the two moving averages that I always look at, which is a 89-day high-low band and a 50-day moving average. And this is the trend line now that I have drawn. So GMR Infra is lying on this trend line here, and then it has gone up. So this, what it does is important. It is not only taking support on this trend line, it is also having a confluence of the 50-day moving average and the 89-day high-low. So this is a trade that I would be happy to take. When this high is crossed, I know that this trend line is now valid, and then I am willing to go ahead and buy GMR Infra at this level. Now suppose you missed the trade at this level and didn't see it, then I don't go and say that you should go and chase the price. Let it come down. If it comes back down to this 89-day moving average again and again to this trend line support, you get another chance to make a trade when it crosses this level. So this is what I talk about. The trend line supports are there, and if there is a confluence of moving averages at the same time, so it means that there is a pullback to these levels and it gives us a perfect risk reward ratio trade to take. You actually get a chance to buy this stock at a time where the stop loss or the loss that you will have if it goes wrong is very low compared to the profits that you can have if it goes right. And this is the kind of trades that we are always searching for. So there are 140 stocks. How many stocks can you actually trade? There is a limit on the capital that you have, etc. So we don't want to run after every stock. You go after only those stocks that fulfill your requirement, your criteria, and your criteria could be a pullback to the trend line support, a pullback to the moving averages. So this is the kind of stock that we are looking for, and this is one example I wanted to give. There was a small break of the trend line here, but even then the price never closed below it, and even if it closed, it didn't actually break below the lows of that day. So this break of the trend line I will ignore, and I will still buy it if it crosses this level. This is one point I wanted to highlight, and so I'm using HDFC Bank. So this is the beginning of the trend line. This is the second point that I've connected, but I really know that this point is a valid point only after it crosses this high, right? So that's when I know it's a valid point. So that's when I draw the trend line, and then I wait and wait and wait for HDFC Bank. So now it has come back to the trend line support here. This is the trend line which I've already drawn, and it has come and taken support here. I will still probably not buy it here because I am waiting for this entire confluence to happen. So now what has happened here is that HDFC Bank has broken above this high. At the same time, it has it has taken support at this trend line. It is now above both the 50-day moving average and the 89-day moving average high-low band. So suddenly, after waiting, for a long time, you get this kind of confluence and this kind of breakout of this range, and therefore at this moment in time you would look at HDFC Bank to buy as a continuation trade. This is a continuation trade. Why? Because the trend has been up and now I am continuing and expecting the trend to go up further. So this is the continuation trade. It is a trade where we have seen that the trend line support has held, and now we are expecting the trend to continue. So this is a continuation trade that we are taking in HDFC Bank. So I have drawn Asian Paints weekly chart just to give you an idea of the way we look at trend lines, right? So this is a long-term trend line of Asian Paints, and here you can see that it has taken multiple times at this support. This is even March 2020 bottom, the recent COVID fall, and then it has gone up, come back, again it has taken support here and now gone back up. So since this is the weekly chart, you will not see this area clearly. I will now move it into the daily chart to tell you exactly how I look at trend lines. So when I look at the daily chart, I already know that Asian Paints has been riding along this trend line, right? So I know that. And then I see that it went up. I could now draw a downward sloping trend line saying that Asian Paints is finding resistance at these levels, and indeed it has been finding resistance. But another thing that I see is that even though it has been finding resistance here, it has also been finding support in this upward sloping trend line. So now we see that Asian Paints continues to do this. So at this point, you know that something has to give. Either it will break out or it will break down. And we are just waiting for what happens now, whether it will break out or whether it will break down. Either thing is a cause for a trade. And here it broke out. Consistently it went up, it broke out. It was a big day here, and after that it not only consolidated, it again came down and took support at this falling trend line. And this is the kind of thing when you want to look for in a breakout trade. So this is an example of a breakout trade. The earlier HDFC Bank example was a example of a continuation trade. Here it is not an example of a continuation trade. If you look at it, this trend line, yes, it is a continuation, but this, if you look at this trend line, this is a breakout above the trend line, and this is an example of a perfect breakout because it broke out, consolidated, took support on this trend line and then moved up. So that is why Asian Paints is a perfect example to trade if it breaks out above this high. So once you saw this kind of formation, you can easily take a buy call on Asian Paints. So if you look at what I've been talking about all throughout, I have, in the examples that I gave, which is maybe HDFC Bank, maybe GMR Infra, maybe now Asian Paints, I always said that I look at trend lines either for a continuation or for a breakout, but at the same time I just don't take that in isolation. So I want to see a confluence of things. I want to see whether along with the trend line, is the moving average also supporting me? Is the 89-day high-low band supporting me? If that is the case, then I feel far more comfortable taking the trade. So confluence of factors is a very important thing for me in selecting stocks, because there are 140 stocks. So in futures, so and if you just look at all the cash stocks, then there are several more. So there could be trades that you could take across the board. Every day there might be 10 stocks coming on trend line supports. There could be different things happening all the time. So how many trades can we all take? We can't do all of that. So there has to be a way to filter out those trades, and one of the things is confluence of factors. Now, in my case in IGL, what is the confluence of factors? I have taken a trade, let us say, when it crossed this trend line, and this was a breakout and then came back down and took support on this breakout and went up, and I bought, let us say. Now, why would I say where is the confluence of factors? Because the moving average is much higher, so why should I buy here? There is no confluence of factors. But there is a confluence of factors only if you look at the fact that all along this fall, these trend lines were acting as a resistance. Even this trend line was acting as this is a gentler falling trend line, this is a sharper falling trend line, but this is the gentler one. All that was acting as a resistance. But look at this is the RSI, and the RSI has been giving you a beautiful positive divergence. Here you can see this is a RSI. RSI has been giving a positive divergence. We will talk about RSI in some other educational program that I'll be doing some other week. But for the moment, you can say that there is a confluence of factors. The RSI has supported this entire idea that IGL can go up from here. So when this cross happened of this trend line, when the break of this trend line happened, and then it came back down to take support here and went up, this was the perfect time to get into IGL. So it has gone up. Now I am not very certain it will continue to go up further or not, because it has moved into the 89-day high-low band, and the 50-day moving average is acting as a resistance at this moment. But till here you could have taken a trade with a very small stop loss. So this is what I mean, a confluence of factors. It need not be always a 89-day high-low band or a moving average, but it has to be something else which supports your theory that a trend line breakout will work. So to conclude, what are the ways that what have I talked about? One is how to draw a trend line, and what is a how to draw a trend line, what does trend line represent. The second is I have said how to find continuation trades or breakout trades, but which stocks to select, not all the stocks that come in, but one where there is a confluence of factors. If you find a confluence of factors which is either a moving average is helping you at the same time, or there is a positive or negative divergence in the RSI, then those stocks are a better stocks to pick out of the several stocks that you have which might give you trendline continuation or breakout trades. So do that. And then finally, I want to highlight that along these trend lines are the very reasons why you find patterns like head and shoulder, inverse head and shoulder. Anybody who's traded, anybody who has any understanding of trading knows that there are all these patterns. And these patterns, etc., are nothing else but our ability to draw trend lines. For example, Asian Paints was a triangle, a large triangle, and with a converging, there was a downward sloping trend line which was a resistance, and there was an upward sloping trend line which was a support, and Asian Paints was within that. It was a triangle. So all these things are nothing else but trend lines, but then we name it so that we can say, okay, this is a head and shoulder, this is a inverse head and shoulder, these are flags, these are pennants. So we will do all of that. We'll do that in the coming weeks. But as of now, I want you to know that this is nothing else but trend lines. If you can draw trend lines, then all these patterns, naming them is all jargon. You can still trade it without knowing anything about this head and shoulder or anything like that. You can still trade it, right? So trading anything without knowing any of the names for the patterns is still possible if you know the basics, the very basics, that is drawing trend lines. If you know properly, then nothing else is really required. A few things like moving averages and RSI to give you the confluence of factors, and you're set to develop strategies which will help you trade. Now, of course, as I always say, that money management and risk management and psychology of trading is a completely different thing. But as of now, at least purely strategy wise, you would be all right if you could get the trend lines right, and if you could get your moving averages and RSI right. You will be set to become a trader if you can do these two things. If you liked what you saw and you want to be notified about our new videos, then please show your love by subscribing to our channel. Please don't forget to press the bell icon too. Don't forget to visit www.themoneymojo.com for more on our training programs, podcasts and blogs.